One moment, please. Let's fix that technical issue. Some of you are not seeing my cam, so one moment while we fix that up in a second, which is what I always say, don't I? Okay. Let's see what's happening here. Alrighty. Okay, and welcome to Viral Political Machine. As you know, Monday is political Mondays, as I call them. It's just for me to organize all of the activities and responsibilities that I have to take care of. Today, we're going to talk about what it's going to take to get a black woman in the White House as the president of the United States. We're referring specifically to an article in the New York Times today. Uh, and let's get to that. Why don't we? Let's show that on the screen. Hopefully, everything works well. There it is. What does this country demand of black women in politics? That's the article. I'm going to use that as a foundation to launch a black women's political campaign for the White House. As you know, we just had Kamala Harris depart from the presidential race just recently. It brings up the question: what is it? What does it take? What does it take for a woman, a black woman, to become president? I mean, we still have yet to have a just any woman become president of the United States. So we're going to it's a wonderful thing. I'm going to tell you something. It's a wonderful moment in time because things are getting tested out, and it's the time for people to observe. Stop all your opinions and your attitudes. You're really missing a great learning opportunity here. Republican, Democrat, you're losing out on a wonderful learning experience. The example of that is this topic today. We still haven't had a woman president, and we have also the candidatures we've already had of black women running for president. Why does it make a difference? Because I think the more weighted a candidate is, in terms of the obstacles or perceived obstacles they have to overcome in order to obtain, the goal, which in this case is the presidency of the United States. I think analyzing a weighted candidate, a candidate that has more to overcome than, let's just say, I guess, a regular Anglo-Saxon, white female is like the only thing that may be looked upon as a unequal standing. With unfortunately, may be that she is female, and so we tend to just look at just that and try to overcome that. When reality, you should be looking at more weightier the challenges, so that at least as long as we can identify how much it takes to get a more weightier candidate across the threshold, then obviously the white female shouldn't be an issue. Obviously we should look at the worst case scenario and deal with that, as opposed to just trying to get a white woman into the White House. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just an issue of testing our abilities and testing the country's readiness for such an event. I think we already went through a test with Hillary, and she did not fit the bill incredibly. And for the Democrats, you have to really wonder, how did that happen? I'm sure that a lot of you are still wondering, how did that happen? So I don't think you guys are dealing with it in the right sense. You need to study this. You need to really look at this. Why wasn't the country ready to give the woman the White House? I mean, 8 years prior, it seemed we were ready to give a black man the White House. Well, what's wrong with women? What's wrong with the female? So we need to look at this. What is the problem here? In this article, dated December the 8th, here at the New York Times politics section, and as long as they let us see the articles, because they don't want you to see articles unless you subscribe and all of that. I don't know what silliness that's all about. But as long as they allow us to see it, we can give them a plug. I'm trying to survive, so I don't know. So it says here the first black woman to be elected mayor of San Francisco, London breed, considers Senator Kamala Harris something of a special soulmate. Miss Breed was one of the 20,000 supporters they are loudly celebrating. She endorsed the campaign from the beginning, but she dropped out last week, as we know. And there were many questions about her campaign. One of the early ones were brought up by a fellow that I view much on Periscope of Twitter, which is Alexander, and he pointed out early on the some sort of an offense to the candidacy of Kamala Harris, based on the incredibility of her claim as being or sharing in the Black American experience or ancestry, pointing out that she was not part of that history, and he took personal offense being part of that ancestry, that she would try to usurp a position or a relation with that ancestry in order to gain political favor. So as a person myself who's looking into the political environment, and I'm working within that environment with my viral political machine efforts, I can attest that that was an early situation, and Ali brought information, relative information, and frankly impacting information, which I have no other reason and no other basis and no other information that would change the opinion that I have, that he made a great impact in the dropping out of Kamala Harris, although they can deny it all they want. I mean, simply, this issue was made great impact, and people began to take notice of that. And then on the secondary note was her track record, of course, as Attorney General, and the negative input or the negative effect of her tenure on actual Black Americans. She really, her tenure as Attorney General really had a negative impact, and unfortunately, I think a lot of people took offense to that too. So she obviously had great baggage coming in, and I don't think she was able to overcome. Plus, the third thing that really was like the last nail in the coffin, I think, was having the nepotism, obviously, in her campaign. She wasn't running it as professionally as she should have, meaning that she made favored placements, and this is where all the criticism of probably even Trump came to haunt now the Democrat side, because now, of course, you're all complaining, you're pointing out to all your constituents, including the Black American, how bad it is. Oh, the family, Trump's family, and this and that, blah blah blah. Well, now that's coming home to haunt you, as all the things that you said about Trump or against Trump, it's going to come back and bite you from now on. So that's the other caveat to what's happening out in the political framework. It says here, quoting, I keep going back to a lot of people telling me there's no way I can win in my district. They thought I could never get elected to my seat, she said. Why? is it more natural for a white man to be electable than an African American woman? Why would she use the word? Why is it more natural? Is anything? What happened to the word historical and traditional? Right? It's not natural. What does nature have anything to do with this? Does it have something to do with it? So the California senator's decision to exit. I think that was yes. This is Miss Breed. Now Miss Breed. That was a quote from Miss Breed, and Miss Breed is what? The first black woman to be elected mayor of San Francisco. Okay. So she became mayor of San Francisco, and she's wondering about nature. Isn't that that's very curious? For the first time in their political lives, many saw their own identity reflected in Miss Harris's bid. In the photos of her as a young girl with braids, her membership in the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, her stories of being bused into a white school district, and her drumline dance move. They also saw in her her effort, a Democratic Party establishment unwilling to fully back their candidates. But they have so many. How are they going to fully back the candidates? So here we go again. That you're making unreasonable requests or having unreasonable expectation. Why is the Democratic Party establishment have to back anyone at this stage? At this stage, it's a horse race. You want them? Oh, you talk about the 50 super delegates that you want for Kamala Harris? Is that what you wanted to happen? Okay, so Democrats, you need to understand what's being asked here. Why is this question at this point? You think you're running a fully democratic process and let the candidates compete, and then the best one who gets the who gets the votes at the primaries, let them proceed, right? But what are they asking? Someone is asking for some favoritism early on. That's what's going on. That's what you have to read here. Because this is like, from a GOP perspective, this is astonishing. Well, what do you want at this time? What you really expect? An early backing of Kamala Harris? She fully expects that. I wonder why. I wonder why. Over and above the will of the people, over and above the will of the Democrat supporter and the Democrat Party voter, she's expecting favoritism over above that. And it begs to the question to be asked: why? Why is she expecting favor? Is there a possibility of having some favoritism right now? See? She expects it because she knows what? She knows it's possible. She knows that the Democrat Party not only can do that, but they've done it before. She knows that. She knows that democracy is not at work here. Doesn't have to be, because at any moment the Democratic Party can abandon democracy and go for whoever they want and practically do whatever they want to do at this point. That's what she expects. She's used to expecting, or she knows something. What does she know that y'all don't know? That's what the question is. But we see what she knows. She knows that your votes don't really count. Your vote is they want to guide your vote the way they want it to be. Here we have the mayor of San Francisco wants your vote to be guided towards a particular candidate, because she has this idea, where she got it from, that can happen, that the Democratic Party has the power to do that. See? What's happening with all this? What's happening with all this, outside of the obvious obfuscation of your voting power, old Democrat member and voter, party member, but what's happening is they're not allowing the learning to occur as to how and when a female, and a black female at that, can actually run honestly, democratically, for the presidency of the United States. It means what they're trying to do, and I can tell you about, I've been in politics for years, and I ran a campaign in New York City, out there in Queens. What they're using is what we call the political machine. These people came up from the grassroots. And in the grassroots, people told the party line. So they go, and this is our candidate. We're, as a district, we're supporting so and so, and that's what happens. And so when you are raised and you're evolved in a system like that, you tend to carry that along with you. What they're trying to do is make that a reality in federal elections. That's what they're trying. They're trying to make that same district politic machine work at the federal level, so that the Democratic Party rules the Democrat vote with an iron fist. That's what they want to have happen, and they want to have that happen. These politicians, once you give them foolishly the seats in the House, then they want to do that same thing in the House. The same type of small district type of politics they want to bring into the House of Congress of the United States of America, which is appalling. But I think it's the worst enemy they have. This is the reason that Hillary lost. Now Kamala's out of the running here. Because, they did not have, they're trying to force something where the Democrat Party isn't even ready. But they're trying to do. These are things they're trying to do. You need to pay attention to see what they're trying to do. These things are being tested, tried, attempted. Because it works at a district level. It works in a localized area. They're trying to make the congressional seats their localized area, and now the federal election, their localized area, where they have a dominance of control of what? The votes. Manipulating the people, giving them the false hope. But they got your vote because the other side's the enemy. The other side is evil. See that? So this is something that you have to look at. It says they also saw in her effort a Democratic Party establishment unwilling to fully back their candidacies, even as black women remain the party's most loyal supporters. Right? They don't care. Did they care about Bernie's supporters? Very loyal to Bernie. What happened last time? 50 super delegates wiped them out. They went for Hillary, the losing candidate. That's what the Democratic Party. She expected them to support the black woman. That's what this is all about. Why are you supporting the black woman? And she's holding them to it. And they saw confirmation of how much more difficult it can be for a black woman to raise money from people who like her, but just aren't convinced she should be or could be elected president. So this is the quagmire. Plus, what is her base composed of? They're not talking about a whole lot of people out there in the community, are they? Right? Because those donations would come in they're smaller donations. There's more of them, right? But without the complete craze in the population, in the Democratic Party, in the black females, in the blacks, period, across the board, for a black candidate, female, You don't see any reasons. Where were they? Where was that support? Because if Kamala was able to raise all that money, there will be everyone threw their support for her. Then you have something of you have some substance. Again, what does this indicate? It indicates that the party isn't there yet. It isn't there. But the desire of the leadership, those who are in political power now, their desire is to have more control over who becomes a candidate and who has electability. They want to be able to control that. That's called political power. Political power. And right now, the only political power that the Democrats have been able to muster was for a white female, and still they were not able to carry that election. So that gives the Democrat a weak position, a very weak position. Right now, you can start throwing in your bets to see which party will have the first female president. At this rate, right now, as it stands today, the GOP has more of a chance of putting in a female president, not in 2020, but in 2024. The GOP has more of a chance to put in a female president than the DNC as it stands today. More chance. Because why? Because of the particular conditions and situation that the country finds itself today, politically, economically, etc., etc. That carries itself through. And barring any other Trump candidature, through the Sons, I would see an Ivanka Trump able to carry the White House after whichever Trumps are the last ones to be in there. I really can see that. It's very possible because of the female issue and then because of the Trump issue. Trump already won. It's not a question. Anyone who refuses that reality is just ridiculous. You're blind and you're not thinking. Simply, you're just going by emotion and by whatever other garbage is out there. We have to deal with the facts. Who's the president right now? Trump. He won. He won the presidency. Period. And right now everything's flying sky high. The impeachment issue is just politics. It's just politics, and most of the country agrees with that. It's just politics. It isn't real. It's not a real thing. It's just politics. Simple as that. So again, the Trump has made a case for Trump, and I think there is a case spreading across the country for a female president. There was before. There was one before. And I think there still is today. After Obama, obviously the case was set. The case was set with Obama. There's no reason why a woman should not be considered for president and have a good chance at running. Okay? The thing is that the position of the Democrat Party is not conducive for a female to win the White House. However, the GOP is. So that's the thing. I think the possibility of a female running for president, winning the White House, I would have even before Obama. Even we had a good possibility to even promote to begin the thinking about a black female, even on the GOP side. We had strong leadership. Black female leadership already, and we had some strong candidates that, you know what, they could have made a great run for president. I won't say they'll win. They would have won against Obama. You can't say that because again, there's that prejudice still, maybe that leaning still towards a male president as opposed to a female. Obviously, look at what else is happening now to bring another point across the home base. And that is this: the attacks that are being levied against Trump How would a female president deal with those same attacks? How would they bear it? And then obviously, how would that go across? A black female being attacked by the other party. How would that fly across? And then also, how would that leader be viewed? If the opinion of the Democrats is that Trump is making our country look bad in consideration, because you can't eliminate it, but in consideration of all the things you Democrats are doing against him, because that's what's happened. You can't say Trump is embarrassing it. You have to say Trump and the Democrats tearing him down are embarrassing the United States. You can't just say that Trump is doing it on his own. He's not. You have nothing to say with how Trump and how America is being viewed without including the efforts that you guys are doing to tear the man down and tear the presidency down, and by inference, the country. Admit it. If you don't realize it, tearing the president down is tearing the country down. You can deny it all you like. The fact is, you're tearing your own country down. You're spitting up into the sky. And that's the bottom line. And then when the spit hits you in the face, you blaming Trump. Well, you really should be blaming yourself for spitting. Stop the spitting. But again, that is the way you guys think out there. And all you're doing is making the White House an impossible seat and making the United States, I think, unremediably, what's the word I'm trying to find? Unmitigatedly, and a laughing stock in the world, not because of Trump alone, but because of Trump and your continual bashing. You're showing other countries disrespect to the leader, and that's it. That's embarrassing to you guys. If children in a home are bashing their parents and making fun of their parents, you think that you're not part of to blame? You think that people are just going to look at those parents and just say, oh, the parent is no good? They're going to look at you. You're the one that's not being good. You should respect. See, that's never, no one, the other countries are looking at you, what you're doing. Because presidents come and go. You guys are staying. All right. Anyway, you guys, I'm not going to be able to educate people who didn't get educated when they had the chance. So while Ms. Harris's bid wasn't a historic first, her candidacy was groundbreaking for how seriously her effort was taken by the political establishment. And it was taken seriously. I don't know what the article's really saying was the reason for that, but because you know who should be running right now? You know who should be running, right? It's Mrs. Obama. She should be the one running. I said this before in previous episodes. Mrs. Obama should be running for the office of President of the United States. She may not want to, is what we hear. Obama may not want her to, is what we hear. But really, I mean, if you're in the political game, which we can't say that Michelle is, she was the wife of Obama, of a president. We can't say she's in it. Like we can't say Melania's in politics. She's not. She's just there. She's holding her sanity as much as she can. It's a lot for any woman to be expected to take, especially now, right? But she is the one really that has the best chance of winning. Let's face it. Michelle Obama is the one that has all the quality in terms of the voting public, which is at the end of the day is all that matters, as we know with Trump, right? You guys have to agree with this. You guys believe that Trump shouldn't have been able to be president, has no saving grace with him. Okay, so Michelle Obama, right? What does she need to have to become president? Only she needs to have is the same thing that Trump needed to have, which was what? Which is just the support of the people. And frankly, it's the only thing required by any president ever in the history of the United States: the support of the people. The people want her. The electoral college will reflect the total nation, not just the populated areas, but the whole country, the land. And she can win the White House. Simple as that. Now, from Michelle Obama, for better or for worse, to Kamala Harris, there's some distance there, and Kamala has history. See, so she has a little bit more history, antagonistic against the support base, against the husbands, right, and the sons of those that she wants to get their vote. So she has a lot to go up against, plus the fact that Ali Alexander mentioned, brought up, and stood behind, was that she's trying to become a African American when she isn't, and the fact that he points out that her family, she's the descendant of her family, which were slave owners, in fact. So she's coming from a different perspective, a different position. So I mean, Michelle doesn't come from that. So Michelle had very, very good chances. I don't know who else could even match her at this point. But she actually comes in, if she would, at such a high advanced position that it's incredible. And it's just sad not to see. And I'm a Republican. I'm a GOP, and I'm saying it's sad not to see her run. Simply because I personally, Obama became president. Way to go. As a Republican, I say way to go, right? And a female, Michelle, coming in and winning, way to go. Even her coming in, even if she don't win, I mean, she should try, because a black female should be president of the United States. It has to happen. And I think right now the best option for that is Michelle Obama. I just personally think that. I think that many Republicans would vote for Michelle Obama. I really do believe that. A lot of people say, no, it can't be. You don't know me. No, I'm not talking emotional. Like I said, I'm always pro GOP and pro Republican, and pro Trump, everything like that. You can make a claim, you can make a case. But even I would admire a run, Michelle Obama. She may not win, but I admire it. And even if she did win, this one, but that after she won that election night, she won. That's it. That's me. That's how this Republican reacts when he loses an election, because the American process won. At the end of the day, the American electoral process wins. And that's always, as any good American would accept, the best thing possible. Okay? So we all need to get a little bit more mature. Stop the silliness. Let's get to business, because you guys in the Democratic Party don't get your things done because you're silly. You're focusing on too much silliness, not getting to business. And your Democrat Party is messing things up. Simply messing things up. Okay, so the third black woman to run for the White House, she cast her campaign in the direct shadow of the first, opening her effort with a red and yellow logo that was a nod to Shirley Chisholm's bid. Okay, and so here it gets into A good article that you should really go ahead and read. That here's the I believe the London Breed was the first black woman to be elected mayor of San Francisco in 2018. I mean, these are females that are winning, and people are willing and eager to see black females in positions of important leadership in the government. As, like I said, this is the time to have it. Okay, so you guys should go over there and read this. I've given my point of view in terms of what I know is a real problem with the Democrat Party being able to deliver for the females, for the women of the party, and especially for one of their main supporting groups, which are the black females, black women in the Democratic Party. I mean, your party is failing you left and right. Party's failing the Bernie Sanders followers. I don't know why Bernie is running again when he knows that they're just going to give those 50 super delegates off to someone else. You want something fair? I challenge the Democratic Party to do this. Let's do this fair and square. Since you took away Bernie's chances for the 50 super delegates, I'm not in favor of socialism. I'm not in favor of Bernie at all. I'm in favor of fairness. What the Democratic Party should do to be fair, and any Democrat that has a fair heart and just heart, like Christians, you should at minimum require that the Democrat Party this time give this 50 super delegates to Bernie. That's what you should really do and demand. And if they don't do that, to make up for that little scamminess they did last time, if they don't do this, then you really shouldn't vote Democrat at all this time. Don't vote Democrat, vote GOP, vote for Trump, and you just vote for Trump. Simple. And I'm not saying that just to get votes, cheap votes for Trump. No, I'm saying that because until you, as a Democrat, you let your voice be heard and regain the power of your vote, being a Democrat doesn't mean anything. You're being used. Simply, you're being used, manipulated. Your vote is non consequential. Now, if you take your vote and you put it into the red side, they're going to notice. If you guys do that widespread, they're going to get the message. They can keep fooling around for a while, but when you guys get enough testadura, which means big ones hanging below, when you get enough of it um, to do the vote the way you should do, or the way I'm recommending that you do it this time, the Democrats are going to keep fooling around with you. You're not going to get any type of Democratic representation. You're just getting Democratic manipulation. That's all. Okay, so that's my point. Michelle Obama, get her to run. Get Michelle to run. She's the best chances. Other than that, give the 50 super delegates to Bernie. And that's that. Take care. I'm going to end it with this. I'll be doing another one probably in a few moments. Take care. Thank you for joining us, and Joshua for chiming in at this moment. Take care, and until next time.